Hi, welcome to AEA Online for Iowa. Today we're going to take a look at, and move this over just a little bit, our culturegrams on AEA Online. And notice that this is from ProQuest. It is culturegrams. We're going to go down here to our state edition. And then if you notice, we can go right up here to the state of Iowa. If I were going to pinpoint where you live, it would be right here where my finger is at. Let's go ahead and hit Iowa. We kind of had an introduction to this the other day, but I thought it would really be kind of nice if we actually covered a lot of the information that is in here. As stated earlier, this is the Hawkeye State. We were established in 1846, and that made us the 29th state to the Union. We covered the first two that were introduced the other day. Iowa is named for the Iowa, a Native American tribe. In Iowa, there are 5 times more hogs than people. We learned that the other day also. Did you know that Fred Maytag from Newton, Iowa, introduced the first commercial washing machine in 1907? Actually, Iowa is home to the smallest church that is near Festina, and it seats just 8 people. Now that's a small crowd for church. In the Scandinavian town of Stanton, the world's largest coffee pot holds nearly 40,000 gallons. Strawberry Point is home to the world's largest strawberry. And did you know that Urbandale's Living History Farms display several functioning farms from different eras of Iowa history? If you've never been to Iowa Living History Farms, it is really a neat place to go. Did you know that Iowa also ranks first in the United States in harvesting grain, and that Iowa is the only state that has both its eastern and western borders made up entirely of water? The Mississippi River forms the eastern border, and the Missouri River and the Big Sioux River form the western border. Here are just a couple of quick facts. Notice our flag for Iowa. It says, "Our liberties we prize, and our rights we will maintain." I hope you can remember a little bit of that. Some of our quick facts: our capital is found in Des Moines. Our population is a little over 3 million. And as far as square miles in area, we have 56,276 square miles. Let's go up here just a little bit. We talked a little bit about the climate. I kind of just briefly touched on that. We know that Iowa is home to dangerous and powerful weather, including tornadoes. We know that heavy thunderstorms strike in June, the month with the most rain. These storms cause damaging floods when the Mississippi and other Iowa rivers overflow. Summers bring heavy humidity and warm temperatures. The frost of winter has come as late as early May, and as early as late September, though frosts on those dates are rare. The average temperature during July is about 74. Gee, it seems kind of hotter than that. And the winters are cold and snowy with an average January temperature of about 14. In the spring, our average seasonal high is about 59, and our summer temperature is about 83. In the fall, we run about 61, in the winter about a 31 average seasonal temperature. As far as geography, I'm sure as you know, I pointed out where all of us are located at in the United States, but in geography, Iowa is famous for its rolling hills and some of the richest and deepest topsoil in the United States. Iowa contains a quarter of the world's top farmland. Millions of years ago, the region was covered by warm seas. Now, during the Iowa Ice Age, glaciers pushed down from the north, flattening the landscape and grinding up rock and gravel. As the climate warmed, lakes formed from the melted ice. These lakes later drained away, and the empty lake beds are now gentle hills, covering almost all of Iowa today. Evergreen forests gave way to grasslands that built up the deep black topsoil for which the state is famous. However, the landscape is different in the northeast. There, Iowa's rivers flow to the Mississippi, creating bluffs between 300 and 400 feet. Iowa is the 26th largest state in the United States, and it has an area of 56,276 square miles. We talked already just about a little bit of what Iowa has to offer. Because of its soil, it is a large agricultural state. Iowa has more than 90,000 farms, and except for California, no state exports selling to other countries more agricultural products than Iowa. Iowa raises about 1/5 of the nation's corn and produces about 1/4 of its pork. Oats, hay, soybeans, cattle, and dairy products are also important parts of Iowa agriculture. Farm-related industries like food processing and farm machinery production are its largest enterprises. In the past, Iowa's economy was strong if only crop prices were high. Today, Iowa has created other industries so that crop prices won't have such a large effect on the state. These include computer and electrical equipment manufacturing, and insurance, chemical production, and printing and publishing. Now, moving on down here, let's take a look at our timeline again. We're going to take a look, moving down to around 1838, and we see in 1838, that is when Iowa Territory is established. All right, down to 1856, and we see that's when the first railroad reaches Iowa City. I'm sure that was a very exciting time for those people that lived in that area. Products could be brought in and products could be shipped out, as could cattle. Moving on down to 1861, we find that Iowa sides with the Union, or the northern states, in the Civil War. Just down below you in Missouri, where I live, our state, trying to remain neutral, ended up siding with both sides, so that caused a lot of rift between families. Moving on, we see that Iowa voters, all men at the time, approved a constitutional amendment to grant our African American men the right to vote. And finally, I want to jump down here to 1918. We find the John Deere Company begins manufacturing tractors just north of us in Waterloo. We're going to go back on up here. We talked about the American Gothic. We didn't really talk that much about our Native Americans. You know, before the 1600s, more than a dozen different tribes lived in what is now Iowa. Among the tribes were the Fox, the Sauk, the Iowa, and the Sioux people. The Fox called themselves Meskwaki, meaning red earth people. French trappers gave them the name Fox when they entered the area. The tribes had set up villages along the banks of the Mississippi River where they grew squash, corn, and beans, and in the winter they hunted and fished. They believed all animals and every living thing had a spirit and that all forms of life deserved respect. The tribes traded with the French explorers, and when the United States bought the land from Napoleon in 1803 as part of the Louisiana Purchase, their lifestyle changed. The United States signed a series of treaties with the tribes in which the tribes gave up their land and they moved to the reservations in Kansas. The Fox and the Sauk tribes resisted removal. They fought back, but by the mid-1800s, almost all the native had been removed from the area. These two tribes of the Mississippi area are the only tribes left in Iowa today. The tribe is made up of descendants of Iowa's original inhabitants who left the state for reservations in Kansas, and a few hundred other members of the tribe who managed to stay in Iowa in hiding. The tribe's surviving members purchased a portion of land from the state government, and they gained federal recognition and expanded their land holdings. Today, they number a little over 1,000 members, and many whom live in the settlement on an area of land covering about 7,000 acres are in central Iowa. There's also a large population of natives in Sioux City. The Sauk and the Fox tribe holds annual powwows celebrating their culture and history. Through the national dance and musical performances, many tribe members work at profitable tribe-owned casinos.